But I really appreciate it. Like I said, it's just really cool hearing your stories, and I'm really looking forward to sharing with our readers.
One that's more of like an issue, I think, is growth, just like we talked about. And it keeps me up at night, not in a bad way. I think it's exciting. It's bringing lots of opportunity and interesting things. And I'm talking about whether you're talking about data centers for AI or new developments in growing town, growth is a lot of things. Also, part of our state is beautifully remote or rural, if you want to call it. And not everyone wants growth. Again, you have to define it, I think, for everybody. But when I think about growth, I think it's exciting. I think there's a lot of great organizations. I think how we do smart growth in North Carolina. And for me, it kind of going back to my advocacy and like communications work, it's really the sentiment around growth is really interesting. Just the dichotomy of those who really want it and really just are pressing it forward and those who really don't want it. But I do think when you drill into those that don't want it, there are opportunities to drill into that more, to understand why and what might lead them towards being more open towards growth.
Through the passage of the big bill that passed, now the Department of Education is limiting the amount of funding that students can get for graduate and professional loans. And if you may not be aware that most of the financial aid that's available is for students at the undergraduate level. There really is very little in terms of grants unless you get tuition remission or an assistantship or something like that. But those numbers are limited in what colleges can provide on that. But in the past, there have been what we call graduate plus loans at the congressional level, and they are eliminating the subsidized loans and they're limiting the degrees that can be that a student can be pursuing and still receive the unsubsidized grad plus loan. They're limiting that to about 11 different doctoral degrees, and occupational therapy, physical therapy, a lot of different healthcare degrees, and others will not be eligible for those loans. So we're really going to be looking to the state and to others to help fill that void, because if the students can't get into the program to be able to finance it, then we're not going to have the workforce that we need.
The thing that we're looking at now that I hope that we can figure out is this housing piece. I think it's critical to our workforce. It's a workforce infrastructure aspect now. And it's an economic growth opportunity, frankly. I mean, we've got a report that we've released, and if the stars were to align over the next 5 years, you'd see almost a $500 billion economic impact, 2 million new jobs, and billions in tax revenues. And so, we want to figure out how to get this working, and we want to keep people in communities. The community I live in, for example, 90% of our police department can't afford to live in the community. So that's not right. But yeah, we have local government leaders that don't necessarily appreciate the complexities around why we need more housing. And so we need to educate those local government folks to help us solve this problem and this crisis, frankly, or else we're going to find ourselves in an economic development challenge.